Hey friends, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Camera Quest. I'm David Miller, Phoenix, Arizona multimedia artist, photographer, educator. This time, I am telling you about a camera I picked up for $15 at Zia Records. This is a chain record store around the Phoenix area, Tucson area. This is a Lomo Fisheye 35mm camera. It is very small. It is very plastic. I was really worried when I got this. At least it came in a box when I bought it. But this thing felt to me like something that you would leave on a car seat and then accidentally sit on and crush. But I have to tell you guys, I have been super impressed by the results that I got with this Lomo camera. First time I took it out was with model Amber Rose McConnell. We shot in this little ruin around Phoenix. I took it out with another model named Kaylee. We shot around Papago Park, got the results back, one roll of black and white, and I was really happy with it. It didn't have as extreme a fisheye as I actually thought it was going to have, but because it's 35mm film, it kind of hung together in a way that didn't feel cartoony. It felt a little bit classic. And as you can see, I shot black and white in this first round. I really like the pictures I got. One of the big problems though, this thing has a shutter that is so easy to hit. So this tiny little camera, I put it in my backpack. Every time that I put my backpack up or down and I had the camera already wound to the next picture, the shutter went off. So if you look at my film, it has a set with Amber, then a bunch of empty frames because the shutter is being depressed in my backpack, and then it's got a set with Kaylee, a bunch of empty frames. Not a problem, something easy to solve. If you find yourself in possession of this kind of camera, you have to probably keep it in another case, not somewhere where the shutter could get bumped, or you just have to develop a habit of not winding the film to the next shot, something that I've never developed because anytime I've ever shot 35mm, take the picture, wind the film. It's a cool effect. I can see its use. I can see it's not good for beauty shots because God knows most of the models I work with don't really like being distorted, having something large close to the camera, usually their forehead or their nose. Your frame is not a full rectangle, it's a circle, essentially because it's taking in such a wide field of view that it's projecting that circular lens onto the film. But I thought I would take advantage of this fact. I came across a new kind of film, kind of gimmicky. It's called Revolog. And Revolog is film that comes pre-superimposed with special effects. So one of their brands of film is called Tesla, and Tesla has lightning bolts all the way across the film. It's very random, and it looks incredibly gimmicky. I totally concede that. However, the shoot that I was preparing for was an incredibly gimmicky shoot. It was based off of 80s metal and synthwave music. So I had a couple of my favorite models, Sky and Alina Lee, aka Thumbelina. They were getting fully done up, punky Mad Max style. We had some guitars. One of these guitars is a ridiculous flying V. And I was going to put some color around them that reflected that neon, synthwave, chillwave, 1980s aesthetic. I really wanted to go hardcore in this direction. And of course, one of the ways we do that is we shoot film, because yes, you can shoot digital and yes, you can make it look like film, but when you are passionate about a particular aesthetic, you try and make it fit as much as possible to what that aesthetic truly is. In the future, hopefully, I'll get a 4x5 camera and I'll be able to do some great depression kind of stuff with one of these models. Make sure I'll do a camera quest about that. But in this case, we're shooting film, we're shooting 80s aesthetic, we've got our colors, lightning bolts, tacky graphics. These are things that are gonna really make the shoot pop. So I only had a few rolls of Revolog film to work with, and I shot it all inside, which I think turned out to be a mistake. This stuff is rated at ISO 200, and the lab that I took my film to, I thought I was going to be able to push process it, but they said no, they would not push process it. They also had trouble scanning the film because the lightning bolts and other flares that go across this film run across the entire thing. And when I shot with the Lomo Fisheye, it further complicated where frames are actually at. I had random circles on my film and then lightning bolts that cross the entire thing. I definitely got a call from the lab, kind of confused, panicky one. They didn't understand what was happening. So if I were to do any more Revelog material in the future, I absolutely would shoot in the daytime, and I'd be assured at least something in each frame as opposed to what I ended up with. This fisheye camera is not going to be useful for a lot of indoor work. You're not going to be able to do any aperture or shutter speed changes. The only compensation you'll be able to do is your film choice. And as far as combining Revelog and fisheye, I think it would have been successful if I'd shot in the daytime. As it was, I got a few shots I really liked, but not quite what I was looking for. I hope that somebody licenses these images for being an album cover. You know, maybe I'll have to make a band with these girls and release my own synthwave, 80s metal type of work just so I can make use of these as an album cover. But I have to say, for $15, this camera really exceeded my expectation. I feel like I've gotten $15 of value out of it for sure. My only complaint is that there's a button that's too easy to depress. And you know what? That's a problem with the photographer. That's a problem with the artist, not a problem with the camera. You find out something like that, you just work around it. So I'm gonna be taking this guy out a lot this year. I don't see a lot of people working with fisheye lenses lately. It's something that was really big when I was growing up for like the Beastie Boys music videos and skateboarding type of stuff. If you were somebody who was into skateboarding, I think this is a better camera to have for that than working with something that's incredibly expensive or a fisheye lens that's like $800 or $1,000 on a Canon camera. Because if this guy broke, I would shed no tears. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but it doesn't cost very much and it's very easy to replace. If I had a lens that was $800 to $1,000 and it broke, there would be many tears and I'd probably be crying on camera to you guys right now. Loma Fisheye camera is a great find, and I hope to show you. Anyways, the Lomo Fisheye camera was a great find, and I hope to share more work from it with you guys in the future. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.